Hey guys, I had to come on here because my cousin Alex and my aunt Kiki, who have been following this religiously, that I've what I've been doing, just sent me information that there's a new article in Cosmopolitan, and just like Carrie Bradshaw has very bad luck with magazines and magazine articles. You remember the New York edition of Single and Fabulous question mark? And also the Vogue in the first movie, the Vogue article about her as 40 and a bride didn't turn out so good either. So now she's finally getting the press. This show is finally, and just like that, is finally getting the press that it deserves. Now, I haven't even read through this yet, but I loved the headline. So let's read through it together for the first time, and I'll react as we go. This is in Cosmopolitan. It's called "And Just Like That, All the Things That Don't Make Sense." Like the rest of the internet, we have been obsessed with our weekly viewings of And Just Like That. Who needs plans on a Thursday evening when you can stay in and watch Sex and the City revival? Seriously, it's been the ultimate cure to the January blues. And yet, as some fans have pointed out, there have been a few things about the revival that have been a little confusing. Here's a rundown of all the And Just Like That things that need a bit more explaining, please. Miranda Hobbs's character development. While it's inevitable that the characters would go through some changes considering the time jump between Sex and the City and Just Like That, many fans have questioned whether Miranda's development is accurate. Would the Harvard law grad we know and love actually be making such rash decisions? Would the powerhouse no nonsense Capricorn let her son behave in such a way? By the way, they ripped that off from Vogue. Cosmopolitan ripped that off from Vogue. Can you believe that? Because it was Vogue that mentioned that. And after years of breaking up and coming back together again, would Miranda really let her marriage to Steve fall apart without even a suggestion of counseling? Carrie's baguette bag. One OG original Sex and the City reference that you might have missed comes in the form of Carrie's purple sequin Fendi baguette bag, which she's seen holding in episode 3 of AJLT. Fans have pointed out that its appearance actually signifies an unexplained plot hole. I'm actually going to share the screen now so you can see it because they're showing pictures and I want you to be able to see that. So let's see. All right, here we go. Fans have pointed out that its appearance actually signifies an unexplained plot hole. Carrie actually had the bag stolen by a mugger in an episode titled What Goes Around Comes Around in Season 3, Episode 17. The scene saw the thief ask Carrie for her bag, giving way to Carrie's hilarious response, "Actually, it's a baguette. Could someone explain its return?" So that's interesting. I didn't even notice that. The dating apps. In the 7th episode of the new series, Carrie's new friend Seema, played by Sarita Choudhury, encourages her to join dating apps following the death of husband Mr. Big. After Carrie likes 3 profiles, she's matched with fellow widower Peter, who seems like a catch indeed. This didn't go down too well with the fans who were quick to call out the show's unrealistic portrayal of dating apps, pointing out that there's usually a lot more swiping involved. I wouldn't know. I've never been on one of those. I haven't dated since before there were those kinds of apps, so I don't know how they work. Steve's short straw. Now that we've established the ages of the Sex and the City characters, roughly 50 to 55, FYI, people have been wondering why Miranda's husband Steve has been portrayed in quite such an unflattering way. Of course, it's not surprising that your hearing can diminish as you get older, but people are wondering why he's presented as sexually incompetent and, well, a bit of a pushover, and why is she so ready to cheat on him? And by the way, watching the Sex and the City not episode, movie number 1, I wrote down her speech that she gives to Steve when he cheats on her. And she said, it's not that you cheated, it was the sneaking around. It was that you didn't tell me. It was the lying. It was the cheating. And so, yeah, for somebody who that was so important to, it doesn't make sense. Carrie's apartment makeover. Another thing about And Just Like That that doesn't really make sense to fans is Carrie's apartment. In the first Sex and the City movie, Carrie is still living in her original apartment, though the walls have been painted turquoise instead of the plain white from the original show. In the second movie, Carrie and Big move into a bigger apartment, but keep Carrie's apartment as a place for her to write from, and the turquoise walls are still intact. Look, don't do this. Don't end your sentences with a preposition from. That's just confusing. As a place for her to write, period. You don't need the from. Just a little tip. And just like that, when Carrie moves back into her brownstone apartment following her husband's death, not only is the decor so different, but it's much bigger too. What's the pink corridor? What's the blue floral wallpaper? Where have the blue walls gone? And then there's some tweets in here. Every time there's a different iteration of Sex in the City, Carrie's apartment gets bigger. It does look bigger. I've noticed that. This one says, I want to meet the decorator that has made Carrie's apartment grow twice the size it was. Still going to watch every episode on repeat, to be honest. All right, so that was something. I think it's good that Cosmopolitan is starting to come off the high horse, because I think I read to you a couple days ago an article from Cosmopolitan that was super cringe and was like ignoring all of the criticism, which is well deserved and should continue. So that's all I have for you tonight. You can consider that your bedtime story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back, I'm sure, soon, because this shit just keeps getting worse. Good night, everybody.